I want an unauthorized Anthrax movie, and I want somebody to dig Dan Nelson out and tell the real story of why he got shit-canned.
Well, he allegedly, the story I've heard, I don't know that this is true or not, but Dan was one of these prankster guys that shit in fucking somebody's guitar case.
That's
or
what
something.
I heard. Frankie Bell, and I heard that he got drunk and hit on Scott Ian's wife.
Well, that could have happened too,
and that's why they canned him. But I really want the shit story to be so fucking true.
I know.
And how much did they pay him to shut him up? Because he hasn't.
He hasn't talked
anywhere.
at all.
Yeah.
No, he must have got a good amount of money to shut the fuck up.
Because I really want that taking a poop on somebody to be fucking true.
Did you like the album that they did? That Joey came back and sang the song, the worship music. I love that.
Fucking great record.
I would. Would you like to hear it with Dan though?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I would too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't care if it's even not as good as what Joey did. I would like to hear the original.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I love that record.
Yeah. The new record, I think the back half is stronger on the new record than that one, but they're both great releases.
Yeah, I think they're on it now, man. They've really found their stride. But the problem I have with the new Anthrax record is a lot of the songs just seem like they were trying to write what they did already. It didn't hold me. Worship music I still listen to.
It's in my car, actually.
Yeah, I listen to it all the time. But the newest one, I'm like,
if they would have released Breathing Lightning in 1987,
it would have been
a different
huge.
ball game. Yeah,
they would have been a different band.
Yeah.
Breathing Lightning is a great tune.
Yeah,
and Sue's Rain is also a great tune.
Yeah.
So I'm in. I like them. I went and saw them on this tour, and they kicked ass. They were really good. We caught the first show of the tour. They opened in Pittsburgh and caught the show. And it was funny because Joey was running like crazy, but he wasn't in fucking tour shape yet. So by halfway through the show, he was fucking foot up on the monitor, just standing still, trying to choke out the words.
He needs that Axl Rose chair.
Yeah, he does. He really did. Because at first, he was running like a maniac back and forth. He's singing and running and singing and running. And next thing I knew, well, now he's standing still. And now he's Vince Neil some of the shit.
Oh.
Now it's like, you're Auntie! Holding the microphone out. And White takes takes the big breath so that he can recover from running.
Now, does Scott look any happier? Because every time I've seen him since Joey's been back, he looks miserable.
He is miserable.
Yeah.
He hates that he can't have a career without that guy.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you. I don't know if you know Joey at all, if you've met him or whatnot, but Joey is the nicest guy in the world. He really is a nice guy. And I don't just say that because I've met him. He's one of those guys like I've gotten a chance to meet and hang with at Belladonna shows, like for the whole show, to where I just see how he is.
Yeah.
And he really is a nice guy, but he's not the sharpest tool in the shelf or in the building or whatever.
Yeah.
He's a little bit dumb. And it shows, and I think that's what Ian's problem is with him, is that it's hanging around with a guy. Those guys, I don't know if you know the Anthrax cats at all. Frankie's a very smart guy. Charlie's a very smart guy. Scott's a very smart guy. I don't know the new guitar player at all. I think I've met him once when he was in Shadows Fall, but I don't know him. But I can see where that would grate on you if you're doing a year and a half in a bus.
Close quarters, yeah.
And you're dealing with this guy and you're like watching a fucking movie with him and he's like, hey, who's that? Yeah, that's the star of the movie. Really? What's this about?
What just happened? Yeah, he's asking questions.
Exactly.
Why did he do that? Well, just fucking wait.
Exactly. And I hate to be that way about anybody, but that's the reality of life on the road, is if you can't connect on more... All these guys can connect musically. Yeah. Let's face it, fucking Kerry King could jump into any thrash metal band and play with any thrash metal band. But he might not be able to get along with any thrash metal band.
And personality. That's what it comes all about when you're out on the fucking road.
And and I mean, you've met guys, I've met guys that are douchebags and that are cool. And you can totally see, the most time I've spent with any band was Pantera. I used to, whenever they would come to town, I would get a call from somebody, meet us here at whatever time. And I would always go meet with them at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, whatever, and we'd go hang out and do whatever before the fucking, sound check, and then we'd drink until it was time for the show. So I spent a lot of time with those guys, and those guys were four very different personalities. And it's very obvious to me why they didn't work at the end. When they were having success, and when they were having success, they could have the party, but then guys could flake off, and it wasn't such a big deal. Mm-hmm. When it started to fade away, when they reinventing the steel and they weren't selling as much and they weren't selling out every show anymore, and they had to open for other bands and whatnot. That's it. And then all of a sudden it's like, people start accusing people of, well, it's your fucking drug problem. Oh, well, you're not social enough with the fans. Oh, well, you're always fucked up. It's always a situation instead of, hey, this is great. We're having fun. Somehow they forget, man, all I ever want to do is fucking play a sold out show once.
Yeah.
And that's every band's dream. You know that. I mean, you've been around enough bands that, dude, if American Dog, who I know you've spent 1,000 hours with, hanging with, if they could do one time, sell out the Gund Arena or the Q or whatever it's called today, that would be the pinnacle.
Right.
That would be the all-time, this is the greatest thing in the world. Until they did it.
Yeah. And then it would be, those guys were just, I went over to Europe for 3 weeks with them, and over there, they played LC pavilion size venues every day.
Okay.
That were fucking packed.
Right.
And they played the fucking 24 Hours Le Mans motorcycle race.
Sure.
12,000 fucking people out there going insane. And they were always appreciative. And even Steve said to me after we finished the one show, he goes, now do you see why we do what we do? We do it for this. Mm-hmm. And the thing is with those guys, they were different personalities. Like especially when Keith was in the band, he didn't drink.
Right.
And Steve and Michael were just, beer drinking maniacs.
Yeah, sure.
But there was no crying. There was no whining.
Right.
You'd get to a venue and something was fucked up, and they're like, we'll work through it. Mm-hmm. There was never any... There was no room in that band for crybabies.
Mm-hmm, no.
And when they changed members sometimes, when Keith left and they brought another drummer in,
right,
he was a fucking crybaby and a whiner. Boom, he was fucking
he's gone. Right.
And then they brought Hazard in for the last couple records.
Sure.
Great. That fucking guy, you could let a bomb off beside him and he wouldn't complain.
Right.
Great drummer, great guy.
Sure.
And they all got along. And that's what kept them going for so long.
Sure.
Just beating their heads against the wall, trying to make it happen.
Well, and honestly, I mean, if you really look at the end, if you look at that tour that they did that ended the band, they played in front of more people than they ever did.
Yeah.
They play, I don't know what Tesla draws, but I'm going to imagine 3,000 to 5,000 a night, right? Is that fair?
Oh, yeah.
So, that was more on a consistent basis than American Dog had ever played in front of. And I'm quite sure that when American Dog played, they were probably pretty full.
Yeah.
Because they were like direct support, weren't they?
Yes.
So they were playing at like 9 o'clock. They played from like, 9 to 9:45 or whatever, right, and then Tesla come on at 10:15 or whatever. So, they were playing in front of full rooms. But they had done it so long at this point that maybe the appreciation wasn't there anymore because it was like, yeah, we're in front of 5,000 people, and we just lost $350 tonight.
Exactly.
And that just sucks.
Yeah.
And I get where that would wear, and I'm not trying to dig into their business. I mean, their business is their business, but 2 of the 3 guys that were American Dog are now the Rat Bastard Syndicate, which means that 2 of them had a different vision than the third. And that's not a negative on Michael or a positive on Steve and Keith. That's just we're here. We grew to be here. You grew to be here. It doesn't work anymore.
Right, exactly.
And that just, it's sad when it happens, especially to a talented band. Mm-hmm. It's sad when it happens to a talented band. But unfortunately, talented bands make it a whole lot less than guys that get the very lucky break.
Yeah.
Because I'll argue all day long, Motley Crue is not a talented band.
Fuck no.
They have no fucking talent. Maybe Mick Mars.
Vince Neil needed that fucking Dave Grohl, Axl Rose chair.
Yeah.
Because that motherfucker's winded all the time. He sings like every 9th fucking word.
Yeah, he's winded when he walks out on stage.